want everybody to close your eyes. Mama, there's no food in the house, and I'm hungry. Mama, why you never put your arms around me to tell me that you love me? Deprivation lived in my home. The feeling of being unloved by my mother lived in my home, and child exploitation lived there too. See, I know that life all too well. It started when my neighbor crumpled up $20 and placed it in my hand, and you can open your eyes. The first time he fondled me. The second time he caressed my breast. And the third time he inserted his private part in the inside of me. And after he got through sleeping with me, he passed me to his brother. And then they passed me to their dad. The man behind us was sleeping with me. The man down the street was sleeping with me. And before he knew it, half of the community was sleeping with a hungry, scared, desperate 11-year-old child. The journey that I'm going to take you on, I ask you to close your eyes because a lot of you wouldn't have been able to handle the first man that got on top of you. You would have died. Could you imagine a child having to use their body for money? Because the things that I needed in my house were not available for me. Sometimes we didn't have running water. We didn't have lights, and a lot of times we didn't have food. And when my neighbor took that $20 and crumpled up in my hand, I knew that that $20 could make a way for my house. So instead of being selfish and using that $20 for my own personal stuff, I decided to take that $20 and use it to prepare a meal for my brothers and sisters who was much younger than I was. So I used that $20 and I bought some beef stew and some green beans, and I went home and I prepared that meal the best way that a 12-year-old child could do. My self-esteem became so low that I didn't know how to love me, because my mama didn't really know how to tell me every day that she loved me and that I was special and that I was pretty enough or I was good enough. Because she had her own stuff that she was dealing with. So I didn't get that in my house. So what it did was it caused me to have low self-esteem and feeling like I was at the bottom of the barrel. So I began to hitchhike. And I began to live anywhere and everywhere. My mother never put me out of her house. I just knew that it was something so much better than my house, my dwelling. So I removed myself out of the house. And I would stay with my neighbors. Anybody who would allow me to live in their house, that's where I stayed. And I taught myself how to be a good little girl. If you allowed me to live in your house, I didn't have to sleep in a bed. You know, I didn't have to sleep on the couch. If you just afforded me the opportunity to live in your house, I knew that I could make me a pallet over in the corner. And I would lay there. And I would make sure that I was the first one to get up early in the morning and take that pallet and take it real nice and put it somewhere in a neat place and just sit down and be quiet so that I could be afforded to stay there another night. And after me just staying anywhere and everywhere, I decided that when my mother eventually, we lived in Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia, and my dad died when I was 2 years old. So my mother had 3 more children after she had me. And she decided that she no longer wanted to live in Virginia, so she came to Bainbridge, Georgia, where she was from. And she dropped us off to her mother and her sister. It was like 7 people living in a 2-bedroom house, and my mom dropped her kids off. So when my mom dropped her children off, it just made it hectic in that house because they were already living below the normal means of having money and resources. So my mom left us at that house and she went to stay with a man that she knew as a young girl, and she hooked up with him and she forgot about us. So her mother and her sister began to beat us repeatedly over and over again for any and everything. They were just mean people. And I knew that that wasn't the life that I wanted. I knew that when we left Virginia, I had a grandmother and I had aunts and uncles who loved me. And my mother took me out of a safe environment and brought me to hell. So So at 12 years old, I decided that I was gonna go find my family in Norfolk, Virginia at 12. And I remembered my grandmother's address. And when I hitchhiked. When I got to the address, an older lady came to the door and she told me that my family had lost that home and my grandmother died many years ago. But she could tell me that they lived in a part of town, but she couldn't give me the address. But I knew that I had a godmother there from a little kid. And God allowed me to give the lady who had now purchased my grandmother's house their name. And it was written in the telephone book, just like it had always been, Catherine and Dan Williams. So when the lady called them and told them where I was, they immediately came and got me. And they said, I have to go to work the next day, but I'm gonna make sure that I help you find your family. And the lady who bought my grandmother's house had mentioned Lafayette Shores. So that morning, because I was a kid that wouldn't take no for an answer, and I was used to taking care of myself, I waited until they went to work, and I remembered Lafayette Shores. So I got on the city bus, I went to Lafayette Shores, it was snowing outside, my shoes had a hole in it, I didn't have a coat, and God allowed me to see some children walking to school, to the bus stop. And I stopped those kids and I said, do you know Jonathan Holloman? And they said, yes, they live over there. And I hadn't seen my family since I was 6. And I knocked on the door and I heard my aunt say, who is it? And I said, Juan, because that's what they call me. And I could hear her running down the stairs. And she opened the door and she hugged me. And she was looking like, who's responsible for you? Who's with you? But nobody came. See, I was used to nobody coming. And she took me in her house and she loved on me, and they decided that they needed to put me in school. I never told them that I was selling my body. I never told them how many people I slept with, because one man was too many for a child. I just pretended. But they knew at 12 years old, when you came across the country, something was wrong. They never asked and I never told. And they enrolled me in school. They had to go to probate court. And because my mom didn't show up, the custody automatically went to my aunt. So they enrolled me in school. I started school, and my house was so immaculate. It was a wonderful place, and my aunt took good care of me, and she made me this homemade pot pie. I had my own bed, I had nice clothes, and I was eating that chicken pot pie, and grief was like it hit me in my gut. And it was like, how are you gonna eat this chicken pot pie, live in this nice home, have these nice clothes, when you know your brothers and sisters are hungry? And I packed my bag like I was going to school, and I hitchhiked, went back to Georgia, put myself back on the street, made money so that my brothers and sisters could eat, so that they could know what it feels like to be loved and taken care of. And I keep emphasizing, my mother did the best she could. A person can only give you what they got in the inside of them. So I'm not here to bash my mother, ever. I just gotta tell the story the way it is. And put it out there so you can understand that deprivation, I didn't have a pimp with a hat and this car. Deprivation was my pimp. Low self-esteem was my pimp. But to say all that, when I came back to Bainbridge and I put myself back on the street, nothing in my house had changed. Nothing had changed. So I'm living anywhere and everywhere. Hurt, this broken little girl who needed that school teacher to put her arms around me and tell me that I was special, and to tell me that I was loved, and not to miss those signs, but catch them right then. But nobody was there again for me. I'm all over the place, not knowing what love looked like, not knowing what it feels like, just a broken little girl who had to grow up to become a teenager that was a broken teenager. I'm told that I could never be nothing based on the side of the tracks that I came from. Told that society didn't love me, that I wasn't worthy enough to even be on the face of God's earth. But because God put a burning desire in the inside of me and allowed me to connect with the right family, they gave me something totally different. They gave me some structure. They began to give me love, and still not knowing exactly everything that I've been through. But they knew some of the things because the community is small and everybody know everybody. but nobody was talking about the men that were sleeping with me. What they were talking about was that girl that you see walking the street all the time at night, and every time you turn around, look like she's jumping in and out of cars. But nobody ever took time to pull me aside and say, what's going on with you? How can I help you? They turned a deaf ear to me, and they turned their back on me. But this family said, as long as I have a place, you have a place. As long as I have food, you have food. And they began to nurture me. They began to pour into me. And my grades were so bad when they got me that there was really no way that I could pull myself from out of that ruckus where I was. So when I graduated from high school, they got with me and they sat down with me and said, you need to leave here. You need to go to Atlanta for Job Corps. So I went to Atlanta, went to Job Corps, and I heard about these amazing historical black colleges. And I knew in my mind that I wasn't good enough for any of them because my county, my city had already told me I wasn't good enough based on the tracks that I came from, but because God had put that burning desire in the inside of me that wouldn't allow me to quit, and because that family had told me a little bit different, my mind began to regulate on another system, and it was beginning to tell me that you are good enough. You are better than what society says you were. So I went down to Morris Brown College a total of 7 days. And I was denied 6 days. And the man who denied me, he had just graduated the year before, so it's like he took pleasure in telling me no. But because I had that burning desire, because I knew that I was better than what society said, I began to study him, because you have to remember that I am a young girl that got street sense, that I know how to survive. And that survival mode would kick in. And I began to study him. And when he went to lunch, God allowed me to go back to the table. And there was a different guy sitting there. He said, how can I help you? I said, my name is Dorsey Jones, and I want to be a student at this great institution. And he said, where are you from? I said, Bainbridge, Georgia. He said, what kind of grades you had? I said, they were terrible. But he did something different. He called my high school. And my guidance counselor's name was Mary Ann at the time. She answered the phone, and she was the same lady that had taken me from sleeping outside on the merry-go-round into her office, began to question me and ask me, are you sleeping outside? Some kids told me you were sleeping outside, and I said, no ma'am. But I had to go back and change that and tell her I was sleeping outside. And she found this home for me. But because the children in that home thought they were better than me, I only stayed 1 day. I couldn't do it. So when he called her and she answered the phone, he said that she said, my uncle is the first doctor in Bainbridge. He sat on the board of trustees at your great institution, and there's a building named after him called the Griffin Hightower Building. And if you don't let Dorsey become a student, we're not going to give you funding anymore. So when she got off the phone with him, he came to me and he said, Dorsey, we're going to let you be a student. He said, but you have to take the placement test. I took the placement test, and I failed. I took the placement test, and I couldn't be a student at Job Corps and a student at Morris Brown too, so I had to leave Job Corps, and I'm walking Martin Luther King, because I had nowhere to go, just me and this raggedy suitcase. And God allowed me to go to this house. Knocked on the door, I told the guy my situation. He told me the house was for recovering addicts, but he told me he would let me stay, so I stayed on the balcony for 3 days. And I went back to Morris Brown with that fire that was in me. And I told them that I needed an opportunity to have somewhere to stay. And the housing director's name was Marsha Brooks. She gave me a key to that room. So the next Monday, I had to wait for my results to come back. And a lady named Miss Peacock was outside at a table, a long table, and she was going through your name to tell you if you passed or not. And she said, what is your name? I said, Dorsey Jones. She looked at me and she told me I failed everything. And as I began to walk away, she said, Dorsey, I am so sorry. You passed everything but math. You have to take 099 math. And right then, I knew that I had an opportunity to get it right. I had an opportunity that I couldn't blow. So when Miss Marsha Brooks gave me the key for the dorm, I didn't have any linen, I didn't have towels, I had nothing that I needed to say that I was a student. But I stayed in that room. It was 2 beds, 2 dressers. Everything was designed for 2 students, and God allowed me to have everything by myself. So I would take my jeans and roll them up and make a pillow. And I would never let anybody come in the room where I was, because I knew that my room was not dressed like everybody else, so it was easy for me to hang out somewhere else. And this particular day, it was a nice, beautiful day. I had put on some raggedy shorts, a t-shirt, and I was just walking the yard. And this guy approached me, and I just complimented his tie. I was like, I love your tie. And we began to talk, just short talk, and I seen him a couple of weeks later, and he wanted to take me out, and I knew right then I couldn't go out with him. I knew right then that I couldn't even be involved in a man. That was like the last thing I wanted to do, because I had been through so much. That's not what I wanted. I knew that I had to focus and get this education, because this was a one-in-a-lifetime for me. So every day for 1 year, he asked me out. Every time he seen me, can I take you out? Can I take you out? And I always told him no. Well, his counselor, advisor, was my PE instructor. And she didn't let the class know that she wasn't coming to work. So I didn't know. I was sitting on the step. I was eating my lunch, and he came by, and I was like, hey, are you going to ask me for my number today? He was like, no. I said, why? He said, because every time I ask you, you always say no. I said, well, ask me today. And he did. We stayed on the phone for hours talking. And I married him. We have 4 beautiful children, and when I tell you, I have 2 children in college right now, the other 2 are still young, and they're in the house with me. But I say all that to say, I don't want to get too much into the book, because it's an amazing book, but children shouldn't hurt. It shouldn't hurt to be a kid. It really shouldn't. It shouldn't hurt to be a child. For a man to lay with a child and rob them of their innocence and take everything from them, you destroy their mind, you destroy the heart, you destroy the organs, you destroy the child. And some people don't recover. Some people don't recover. Some people don't get married. Some people don't have children. Some people don't have a Sharon. Your name's Sharon, correct? Susan. Some people don't have a Susan to sit down and cultivate them and try to restore them and rebuild them. So that's just a little bit about my story. It's so imperative that when you go vote, that you understand what you're voting for. And it's so important that you say yes to this bill, because there's a lot of kids out there that won't make it if you don't. They really do need your help. They are hurting, and even when you live this type of lifestyle and you grow up, you still have things that come back and hurt you and haunt you and make you think. Sometimes it's hard to love. You have relationship issues. You have low self-esteem issues. You find yourself being disconnected because you don't feel like you're good enough. You don't feel you gotta always put on a defensive mode. It's kind of like a turtle. I try to use my life sometimes as a turtle. You know, a turtle, they protect themselves. They go into the shell, right? Because they know once they close that shell, it's hard for somebody to come in and hurt them. But every now and then, they'll peek out. They'll peek out because they want to know if somebody's there. They peek out because they want to know, can I talk to you just a little bit? And if you hurt me, I can go back into my confinement. And it's just like our children today. They don't know how to walk up to you and say, I'm being sexually exploited, or my uncle is sleeping with me, or the neighbor is sleeping with me, because you have already put up this facade that after you don't care no way, because you're looking at them based on what they look like and where they come from. And when you take the blinders off and see it for what it really is, that we're all God's children. There's no color, there's nothing. We are human beings that want to be loved and want to be nurtured and taken care of. And when we all get together and take that key and unlock that door and realize who we are, and that we're all children of God, and that we all want to see one another be happy and God be glorified, and we all come together with one mind, one body, and one spirit, and fight this demon, we'll accomplish so much. So I say thank you for having me. And remember, on November 8th, if you vote early, vote yes for safe harbor. If you leave here today, don't just let it sit in your mind just for a small moment. Think about it, tell people about it, and educate yourself on this epidemic, because supply and demand is, as she said, no business, no buyers. You won't have a business if you don't have men buying sex. So while the men are talking about sports and golfing and all that, let this be a conversation that you talk about. Bring this up, talk about this issue, and see how many friends you lose.